So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today, this Monday evening. We are very excited to have Liv Hansen join us for this first workshop, Ideation. Liv, do you mind taking it on, introduce yourself a little bit, and tell our cohort what to expect today?
All right. Well, thank you so much, Xenia and Sydney, Heather, everybody who's been involved. Thanks for inviting me again. We had such a fun time last time. As far as introducing myself, my name can either be pronounced Leaf or Life, or sometimes Leaf on the Tree of Life, or Laif. I'm schizophrenic about it all. But for today, please feel free to call me Leaf. And my business, Spark Interaction, I've had around since 2017, so about 15, 16 years now. I do a mixture of personal, professional, and organizational development. I've been privileged enough to get to have my workshops featured on NBC Today Show and PBS and multiple other national media. Largely, I think it's a good mixture of luck and that I really try and do my work out of a sense of passion and play and like social relevancy of what's really alive to me and the zeitgeist in the world. And really try and stay connected to my own pulse and the pulse that's out there, either in my local community or abroad. Spark Interaction is the name of my business. And the process that I do, I like to call it play formation. And some people, when they hear the word play, the problem is that they immediately have the duality of play and work. One of the dualities we're trying to overcome, when the reality is that a mind at play, a mind that's open and soft, and a heart that's open and soft, and the capacity to not get fixed and attached to ideas is what really helps us both to enjoy ourself and our life and our work, and to do things like we're doing today, to do the ideation and the brainstorming and the ego that gets kind of contracted and afraid of what people are going to think or being judged or failing and all of that, that we've learned as adults. When we were kids, it was really natural, right? We just kind of went out and did things until our teachers, our parents, or other people brought us all this critique, and we got a little bit locked up. So a lot of how I show up in the world is helping people to feel safe enough and human enough to enjoy themselves, to enjoy their work, and to start playing and thinking in different ways. So today, that is one of our goals, is actually just to have fun, to kind of kick this off with some fun, some inspiration, some connection, get to know some of the people in the program here, hopefully have a sense of being activated and inspired, and to connect more deeply to what you want to do, to kind of do some ideation. And some of you already have a really strong sense of what that is. Some of you are just beginning. But I'm asking everyone today, even if you're like, we got this, to hold it a little more loosely and a little more playful way to see what new possibilities might arise. And actually, on that note, we wanted to get some quick feedback. So maybe this would be a good time to launch that poll, just to kind of see where people are at. And the first question, select as many of those as are resonant for you. Could be all 7, maybe just a few. In terms of like goals that, we have just a certain amount of time today, and we'll get as much as we can in. And the second one is just to kind of get a sense of where you are in the process from ideation to development. And then the third is just kind of like, where are you at? Maybe you're in a place of like, woohoo, easy, no problem, we got this. Or you're like, oh my God, what journey am I embarking upon? I'm terrified. This is the first time for me. And now I don't know why, Sydney, but for some reason in the poll that I'm seeing, it says 0 of 3 answered, and it usually, I think, shows all people that can potentially answer. Am I reading that wrong?
I think your side might show it different. Right, on my side, okay. I can see that 28 people could fill this out, 14 people cool. have, 15 now, so it's going well.
Excellent. So we'll just give you a second to sink into those questions.
If it makes you feel better, I don't see any of it.
Oh, okay.
So should be good.
¿Cuánto tiempo es?
Una hora, creo. ¿Por qué?
Okay.
¿Por qué?
And when we get to the place to share, I'm all for transparency. So I'm happy for the results to be, there's an option to show to everybody. So feel free, and that's just a way of us knowing our consensus reality in this Zoom space.
All right, and we are at 21 of 29, and 4 of us will not be filling it out because 4 of us are on the not team side at least. So let's go ahead and close this in about 20 seconds, if that sounds right to you, Lee.
That sounds great. Maybe
Okay.
like 22 seconds. No, I was kidding.
Oh, okay, that's better,
yeah. Elizabeth, I see your chat in there. It's fun that you know about the AIN. If those of you aren't familiar, AIN is the Applied Improvisation Network, a network that I helped grow to, it's probably about 10,000 people now around the world who are using improvisation in more, not just sort of theater entertainment ways, but to apply improvisational thinking. And a note on that right before the poll launches is I really think we're in a time, particularly with ChatGPT and the other AI, artificial intelligence, not applied improvisation, I love them both, is that we're tapping into a real mystery of what is human innovation? Like, what is this source that ideas come from when there's not something you're pulling from? So improvisation, we'll talk about that in a moment, is a great way for us to innovate. Okay, thank you for that poll. So awesome. So we have like over half of you, the majority are here to make connection, have fun, meet people. And of course, the ideation around potential challenges. Some of you, looks like close to half for like what your actual idea is going to be. No, sorry, actually only a third of you. So that sounds like probably a good 2/3 of you are already some way in that direction. And then the rest are just wanting to expand those ideas or get help with challenges. And then narrow down, connect to your story and purpose is only a third. Excellent. What's interesting to me is that we don't have like a high score on any of those. Like there's not like everybody's in on one. So that what that means is I'm destined to disappoint some of you. Because you cannot please all the people all the time, as we've learned. All right. So the second one, it looks like wow, if I added that up, 30%, there's 67, 3/4. Really, if we add the 7 out of 10, it would bring it up to 85. So a large majority are already on their way to kind of a fixed, clear idea. That's really helpful to know. And I can hopefully adjust some of the activities around that. And then, yeah, most of you guys are feeling ready to take this on, the challenge that's going to come up through this program. Maybe just a few of you in that kind of, maybe a quarter of us are kind of a little bit more trepidatious. Totally understandable. Thank you so much for your transparency, vulnerability, and that helpful information. So I want to say just a few in terms of what you can expect today. We're going to be doing some of this intro warm up. You already just saw the list of the goals. But in terms of the sort of 3 chunks of what we're doing, this first introduction time will be wrapping up fairly soon to the principles. We're then going to have some time to do some connection and kind of warming up and getting out of our ego identified protected selves. And then we're going to move into some ideation time to really expand our ideas or come up with some new ideas. Some of them will just be purely playful, just to get your mind in a good state. And some will be more on the practical side. And then we'll be moving more from divergence into convergence on some top ideas. and some ways to get some positive, constructive feedback from peers. And we'll be kind of debriefing and wrapping it up after that. So I want to introduce a few key ideas that can help us set the tone. By the way, if people are comfortable, I personally love as a facilitator to see the faces of the people that are here. I would love for us to make an agreement. One thing that can tend to happen in a Zoom space, unlike live, is that we multitask. And if you're an engineer type mind person, oh yeah, do we love to have 20, 30 apps open at the same time. So if possible, my request would be for your own, to respect yourself and me and all here, to bring your presence, to let go of those notifications and other apps, and to be present with each other in the room. And one good way to do that is just to turn your cameras on and be, hey, here I am. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Hey, Casey. All right. So the first principle is a really simple concept that I like to play with words. And I noticed etymologically that there's a connection between the words humor, humility, human, and humus, the earth. And so what I call this teaching is the hum. When we remember the hum, another way to think about it is just sort of the hum that's energizing the whole universe. But if we can remember to not take ourselves too seriously, to laugh at ourselves, and to not be so rigid in how we think of ourselves and our ego, that humor, being able to laugh at ourselves, enables us to have humility and to be more connected to our humanity and to connect to the earth, the humus of the earth, that ground layer of that composting material that we're all going to return to, ashes to ashes, dust to us, dust, right? So I like to just think today of remembering that we all are in this game together. One of the phrases that people that know me well, it's kind of cheesy, but I like to say, we, all the way home. And what I mean by that is the French word we, O-U-I, yes, we, W-E, we, W-H-E-E-E, we play. The way we're all going to do this and survive as a species is this, if we can learn to have that humility to come together as one people. And in the spirit of that, sometimes we'll do some things that kind of seem a little silly. And like, why are we doing this? It's because the play and the silliness, that return to a childlike state, helps us to get over our protected egoic self. So in that spirit, I want to ask you guys to do an activity all together here. And again, cameras are great for this, that I learned from a teacher actually in your area. I'm out in Hawaii, by the way. I moved from the Northwest to Hawaii. Some of you might know Matt Smith. Matt Smith is an excellent improv teacher, Unexpected Productions. And he talks about how if you were to go to a circus and you were to see a clown juggling or something like that and make a mistake, they would do something very different than we make what we judge as a mistake. When we make a mistake, I want you to imagine in your body right now, you just said some sort of social faux pas, or you're in a business meeting and you did something. What would your body tend to feel like and do? Go ahead and make a, like a movement for me. Yeah, covering the mouth. Oops. Ah, oh my God, I like that. Nice, Tom. You're like, it's a state of shock and a freeze in our muscles, right? Well, what a clown does is they go like this. Thank you very much. They just completely own it with what Matt has called the failure bow, or the circus bow. And so another way of just saying it is ta-da. So in the spirit of getting over that fear of, if you're in a breakout group or together and you seem like you look silly or you did something, I'm going to ask us on the count of 3 to all take a bow, standing or sitting, and we're all just going to say ta-da, embracing our humanity. You guys good for that? Can we do that? All right. Unmute yourself if you like. That would be best, but if not, that's okay. 3, 2, 1.
Ta-da!
I'm a human like you, just like you and you and you. I mess up. And once in a while, I might drop an F-bomb. I haven't done it yet, but I hope this group's okay with that. I'm going to try and be very professional and proper and say all the right words, but I know that we all have different language comfortabilities, and that sometimes is my ta-da. All right. So the second thing is the principle in the improv world. How many of you, raise your hand, have heard of yes and? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so yes and is the core principle in the improv world. And the way that I like to simplify it is it means seeing value, adding value. So in an improv, like if you've gone to like a theater or something like that, and you're watching an improv show, the way that shows up is someone walks on the stage and there's someone else there and they're like, hey, Dad, how's it going today? And the other person doesn't go like, oh, shoot, I had a different idea, or that's a dumb idea, or I'm younger than you. How can I be your dad? It's the yes is an immediate, that is now the reality that's been presented to me. And the and is they add value. Oh, hey, son. Or maybe they're a different gender. Hey, son, I'm doing fine. I wonder if you got your homework done before dinner. And a scene starts to develop. Yes, and yes, and yes, and. And when we're with a team in a business meeting, it's very similar. Or maybe with your romantic partner or something. Hey, honey, do you want to go on vacation? No, we don't have enough money. Or yeah, but last time we did it, it got really, not fun. So there's sort of that like buzzkill energy that often happens in a meeting with people where we're just, the yes we have, the enthusiasm, the idea, it doesn't get seen or built on. And then you have the people who they've got the build on energy, but they take it in a completely different direction, and they don't give some acknowledgement to the gift that was given to be able to build on it. So what we're going to be doing in a lot of our activities today, in a big group and a small group, is to sort of say yes as much as we can, and what's in integrity with our own bodies and minds and souls, and then to build on it in an and. And so in that spirit, we're going to do a funny little experiment right now to help us get past our taking ourselves too serious and tying these principles together of yes and humor and humility. And I'm going to ask everyone to turn off their camera right now. And in the next 1 minute, you all have a fun little task. And what that task is that you are all going to make a hat out of anything on your desk, on the floor, in the area. You're going to make some kind of hat so that when your camera comes back on, we are going to turn them on at the same time with that hat. So ready? I'm putting a timer on the screen. I'm curious if it shows up for those of you that don't have the app. Do you guys see a timer?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, timer. Yes.
Thank you. All right. Yes, and all right. So go ahead and get what you can. You're only not allowed to come up with real hats that exist in your area. Just anything constructed from scratch. Got 20 seconds left. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I guess I count slowly. All right, wherever you're at, love it, Tom. Oh my God, you guys are brilliant. Wow. Whoa. Oh yeah. Nice. I'm almost tempted to take us on a little tour of all the hats, but I know we're gonna run out of time because I always run out of time. Nice. Oh my God, Maria, what is that?
A stool.
It's like a stool. Oh, perfect. Excellent. So with your hat still on just for a little bit longer, I want you to type in the chat box, how did it feel to do that? Do you feel like this is dumb, or that was fun, or how does it feel to look around at all these people? Like what's the energy? What voices came up in your head. One word, maybe a sentence. Just type anything in there of what it was like to do that activity. Nice. Natalie, fearless, happy, silly. We're in this together. Goofy, liberating, loving other people's ideas, thrilling, juvenile, silly, funny, and hard to balance. Resigned. Good. Yes, and I like that sentence about we're all in this together. One of my favorite quotes of all time is wait, oh god, now I'm forgetting how to say it. We may not have it all. Oh, wait. Oh shoot, what is it? Oh, I'm telling you my favorite quote. We may not have it all. We have it all. It's gonna come back to me. Don't you worry. I'm doing this just to keep you on your toes. Okay. So looking around the room before we take it off, just think about how you only had 1 minute. How many of you thought that a baseball glove could become a hat, or a tray, or whatever the heck Grand Farms Resources has, a star? That is awesome. And a dog with a hat, a book as a hat. So many. I think Pierce has a lemon. Is that what you have?
Grapefruit.
No.
Close.
Oh, a grapefruit. Even better. Yeah. My favorite citrus. Okay. So, you know, there's a lot of unexpected things. You can go ahead and take them off now, unless you want to. If it helps you to kind of be in a not taking yourself too seriously sense and just have fun, please keep your hat on. You're welcome to. And Sydney has her hat, by the way. She crocheted that and just finished it today. Pretty dope. Buy them at sydneyhats.com. Just kidding. So we're going to just, for a moment, take a, in your body right now, everybody take a shape with how that exercise felt to you. So it might be like this, or like, or this. Everybody just take a quick shape. How did that feel to do that exercise with your body? Show us with your body. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. What the heck? I'm seeing lots of excitement, puzzle, victory, all around. Okay. And now take a shape with your body. I want you to imagine that your product or your service, you've gone through the process of ideation, of all the different awkwardness of, you know, awkward is the new forward. That's how we get out of the comfort zone. Awkwardness is awesome. If you're feeling awkward, that means you're growing. If you're not feeling awkward, likely means you're staying too comfortable. So imagine now you've gone through the awkward and you've created what it is that you're in this world to create, in this program to create. Show me with your body how that feels. Kicking back. I see some victory. I see a self-love hug. I see, oh, a focus. Yeah, like a little container, thumbs up, wides out. Great. So just kind of log that feeling in your body, because that's where we're going to be trying to head today and for the rest of this program. Thank you guys so much for doing that. And for anyone who's just like, this stuff is really silly. Great. That's the energy you get to play with and see what that's about in your own system. I appreciate all the feelings are welcome here today. All right. So we're going to have you guys now break out into groups of 3. And I'm going to put into 2 rounds of questions. And each person gets 1 minute each to answer these 2 questions. So you'll go through this first question.
We have an even number of people.
Okay, you can get a
3 to 4 or 4 to 3.
How about, can we have either just in terms of time, is there a way to make it 3s by adding in one of the facilitators, or is that including you and others?
Yeah, I will quickly do.
And that's okay. You know what we'll do, if there's a 4th, that's fine in their group. We can just do a
yeah, all good.
Have the other groups have an extra couple minutes for debriefing.
3 folks, except for 1 group.
Okay, great. We'll just they just won't have the debrief time. Sorry to that 1 group. And then the second question, you can just choose one of these questions. They're kind of more like question clusters. But the first question is basically around your why. So just say your name in that first minute, and it might be something like, I'm a part of this group because when I was a kid, I saw so much waste in my family, and I really love this planet. And one day this idea came to me. I was abducted by aliens, and this is what they told me. Whatever your why is, share that why. And then the second one is just more about this process of ideation. What do you think helps ideas come, and what blocks ideas? So 1 minute each. You'll be tossed in a breakout group of 3, except for one of you in 4. Welcome Kayla and any other new people who are coming. And we will see you soon. Hello, Tiffany and Gemma, Maria, Alice. Looks like you have a whole team there with you, Tiffany, yeah? Hi, team Tiffany.
Hi. Thank you for your patience with us. We are the ones who are in a rural area and having both internet and tech issues. So thank you everyone for joining.
Oh, no problem. All right. Hopefully you got to meet some people and get a little bit of their insides. You know, when it comes to the pitching our projects, our ideas, it really is the story, the why, that both keeps us to persevere through to completion, and also the why that helps us to really enroll other people and inspire other people in what we're doing. Realizing I didn't really share a lot of my why with my business. So let me just say, like, I believe that humanity is at a critical crossroads. And I think probably a lot of you would agree that we are at that decisive decade of we're either at a make or break point. The issues we're dealing with in the world, whether it's environmental, political, religious, ideological, you know, they're no longer games that only affect a small area. They're going to affect us all. And so I'm in this game for a global shift in consciousness, and bringing my play formation to that topic and helping humanity come to a stage of becoming finally a global community. So what your why is, why you're here, is something just to really be present of, and we might dip back into that topic later. Maybe in the chat, just say a word or 2 or 3, a sentence of what were some of the things that you either said or heard that help creativity to flow more freely. Interesting. Since I was last on Zoom, the chat history used to be saved, but starting fresh. Okay. Be open to others' ideas. Getting feedback and new perspectives, feeling equal with a group. Being open to new ideas, willingness to delegate, letting your mind relax, spending time with the idea, the time of the day. I'm a night owl, like knowing like when is your zone of creativity. Moments of silence or boredom. That's a really good one. Thank you, whoever said that. That's one that I often need to learn. I'm like, screen, ideas, stimulation, people. And it really is true that it's those times where we're not expecting. I remember, Hans, you mentioned something about that in our little group of just like, you know, the aha moments when you're going for a walk. Effortless action principle in Taoism, Kayla says, more people in a group, adding ideas. Conservative and liberals are for our project. That's awesome. Yep, different backgrounds and ideologies. Shower thoughts, brainstorm, play storming, solution storming. Not forcing myself. People adding their expertise. Awesome. Feel free to add some more if you want. And you can also always save a chat history if some of these are, if you're someone who gets stuck, those could be helpful for you. And then what are some of the things that you came up with that block it? I heard in my group, Hans mentioned the stress. Sometimes when you're in a stress place and your mind shuts down, what are things that block creative flow for us? You could kind of, in some ways, you could take the opposite of what we're seeing here, right? Being closed to ideas, not being open to feedback, not having equality in our group, constant stimulation, fear of judgment, fear of failing. Yeah. It's a lot of why we did the silly games in the beginning, right? We get past that fear of judgment and failing, over optimizing. Oh my God, who said that? Hans, that is my weakness. One more cool app. I can just get everything organized and then, oh, wait, look at this. There's a new update. Let's do that. Like continual search for efficiency and optimization. That's great. Overstimulation, financial stress, lack of action, or fear of success. Great point. I love that Merriam-Williamson quote that probably many of you are familiar with. It's not our darkness that we're afraid of. It's our light. Who are you to shirk back, you know, as children of God, of like bringing your gifts to the world? It's our fear often of our light and our power and our success, not just our failure. Disorganization, poor working memory, governmental agencies, negativity. Yeah, a lot of this stuff that happens in the workplace. It's sad. So hopefully some of you are part of cultures, work cultures, or family home cultures, or communities that do the opposite. I've really been happy with the community I live out here in Big Island, Hawaii, Puna, where people are really seeing each other's brilliance and magic and affirming each other and wanting us to be our best selves. So I hope each of you can find that. Chaos, says Miranda. Yep, there's definitely enough chaos in the world. Awesome stuff. Okay, we're gonna do one more in our kind of connection activity time. And this one's really just, it's just a fun one, but it's also a way to, again, open up that creative flow. In this next activity, you're gonna be in a group of 3 to 4 people. And little did you know it, but these 3 to 4 people you're in a room with were actually your best friends back in high school or college. And we've all gotten old, and whether it's age or substances or whatever, our brains are a little bit fuzzy and we can't quite remember, but we all went on some epic adventure together. And we had this shared experience. And the way that we remember this experience is that yes and principle we were talking about. And Sydney is going to demonstrate with me a 2-person version of this. One is going to start off like I'm about to by saying, do you remember when? And it's going to be anything. So I might say, Sydney, do you remember when we went down to Mexico and we went to that pyramid and we saw a bright light up in the sky? By the way, Sydney, just in case, okay, yeah.
Yes, and it was really weird that there was a pyramid in the restaurant, like one of those small ones with the light.
Yeah, and it just started, that light just started like growing bigger and bigger, and it was like you were hypnotized, and you looked at me and you said, I am no longer Sydney, and you freaked me out.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to remember because I was hypnotized, but people, I think they told me that the restaurant hired me while I was hypnotized. I think I worked there for like a week.
You did. You were a table dancer. You went around and did like dance with tortillas and like served people. That was amazing. Yes,
that was an odd time in my life that I'm happy I don't remember, but I think I made a lot of money, and I also met some really cool people who worked at across the street at the small like petting zoo.
Yes, that's right, the petting zoo. And there was that guy that like was constantly dressed like a giraffe. And I think, did you end up going on a date with him, I think? Or no?
Yeah, Giraffe.
Giraffe. Yeah, Giraffe was a cool guy. Okay, give her a hand, everybody. That was a brave thing to in front of the whole group. Woo! Thank you, Sydney. And okay, so you get the idea. Remember, yes and is seeing value. So you got your listening ears on. What's the information that's coming to me? And your and is you're adding value to it. So you're not just taking it on a whole new extreme. If someone says, do you remember when we got abducted by aliens? You don't just say, yeah. And do you remember when we had a taco dish yesterday? You know, like you're making some connection, right? So you're going to be again in groups of 3 to 4. One of you is going to bravely say, do you remember when? And popcorn style, you know, try and maybe have each of you take a turn at first. So you can kind of circle it around. Let the story unfold to wherever it goes. Any questions? Burning questions?
How many minutes do we have?
Let's do this one for a 3-minute total.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
you'll get a warning at 2 minutes, and when it says that it's over, that means you have 2 minutes to get back. Don't miss out on building some good connections here to follow up on later. Good value there. All right, maybe just 2 or 3 quick comments of how that activity was for you. Did you find resistance and self-judgment? Was it fun? Was it easy? Was it hard? Give me a physical hand raise and I'll call you out. Maybe 2 or 3. Hans.
Well, I didn't start, but it was way easier, I thought, after Kayla started, because, you know, then I felt like we could just kind of run with it.
Nice. Where did Kayla take you to?
We were in Whistler, and we were all at a
yeah.
bar. The reason we couldn't remember is because we were all pretty drunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Slowly memories.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Excellent. Okay. Another hand or 2. Casey? And then Tom.
Yeah, we had a good exercise. It's kind of difficult getting it rolling, but like we kept trying. A couple of false starts before we actually got rolling with the narrative. Yeah, it was a good exercise.
Awesome. Thanks, Casey. And I see people also typing a few things in. Feel free, if that's more your style, to type comments and feedback in there. And then Tom, last comment.
Yeah, we were in a bar in Tijuana, and the girls thought their drinks might have been altered. And so they started taking their clothes off, and I had to get them all together so they wouldn't be harmed. And we got out there. Everybody had a pretty big hangover the next day.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Tom. I'll tell you, it seems like about 90% of the time there is either some substance that ends up happening in these activities or nudity. My theory on that is, like, adults, we've so gotten disconnected from how to just be silly and playful on our own. Like that's our way of getting that spirit of freedom and uninhibitedness is through a substance, which is fine and great, but it's funny how often it comes up. And maybe nudity is our, like, a way of our repressed self just being like, okay, here we are our raw human selves. So thank you for trusting each other to play in those ways. I see it was okay, but didn't actually connect us with other group members. We are already connected within our team. Didn't get to know others as everything was too fake to show personalities. Cool. Yeah, so it's a definite, definitely when you're in a more playful space, it's a different kind of getting to know each other than the previous questions, right? It's more of like an energetic getting to know each other and building trust. Like, do you trust me enough to let your guard down? Do you trust me? Can I trust you enough to look silly before you? So maybe in your team, who was that said that? Tiffany, it might be nice to consider how that kind of playfulness that might seem superficial hides something underneath. Hard at the beginning, then we started being in the same place. We ended up in a theme park. And deep observation leaf. Oh, I guess about the drinking inhibition. Great. All right. Unless there's a burning comment or question, we're going to move into just a few more thoughts that I would like to share about the mindset. So in this sort of space of ideation, I finished a positive psychology certification last year. And a lot of people, when they hear positive psychology, they either get it, what it's about, or they think it's about bypassing the hard stuff in life. It's not at all about that. It's about embracing the difficult emotions and difficult parts of life, but in a constructive way. And similarly, when we're in a business ideation place, we're not about like, don't say that idea, or yeah, but, or no, but it's about giving us first a spaciousness to let ideas flow and to have that sort of playful, positive, constructive mindset. And as you guys have already pointed out, what tends to get in the way of that is that we get afraid of being judged, of failing, and things like that. Moment. I love this quote. Getting bad ideas is actually a sign that you're getting ideation right, because it means people feel safe enough to give you everything they have. This is one of those rare occasions where quantity actually does equal quality. So the convergence is when we start to go into the specific quality. But at first, in the divergence and the opening up ideas, we want to fail. Sometimes I start my workshops by saying, hey, you guys, our goal is to fail as much as possible in the next half an hour. Okay. And of course, that's why we have the ta-da. Thank you very much. So this next activity, we're going to have a chance to kind of just play with our minds being more at play in association. And we're going to stay, just for fun, we're going to try doing this in the large group. And it's just going to be a free association. So the way it's going to work is I'm going to start with a word, and then I'm going to say someone's name. And then they're going to say the word that associates with them with that. And then they're going to say someone's name, and on and on and on. So you might want to have yourself unmuted or really quickly ready to unmute if you get called on. And again, that fear of saying the wrong thing or looking stupid is what's going to stop you from like really being in the moment, but we're going to try and say things as quickly as possible. So here we go. Pipeline, Miranda.
I don't know what that means.
A pipeline? Okay, let's do a different word. Banana.
I'm doing a fruit.
You just anything, the first thing that comes to your mind. So when I say banana, you might say a fruit. You might say banana milkshake, whatever comes to your mind, just quick free association.
Okay, and do I pass it or you do it?
Yeah, and then you'll say the word, and then you'll say that word and then someone's name.
Okay. So we're going with fruit, first word that popped up, and then Maria Rodriguez.
Orange.
And then a name?
Senia.
Round. Tiffany.
The Robin. Sydney.
Red, Alice Marie.
Apple, Hans.
What was the word?
Apple.
Apple.
Yeah, juice.
Boone's Farm apple wine. And cheap wine to Hans.
Bottle. Gemma.
Tropics. Hans.
You said tropics?
Yeah.
Hawaii. And I'll go to Leaf with that one.
Community. Aaron.
Place.
First thought. Good, great.
And stop, right?
No, keep going. So place and then say a name.
I said place. Andrew.
Home. Kayla.
Family.
Tiffany.
Feud. Nathaniel.
I'm sorry, I missed the word.
Feud, family feud.
Oh, feud. Chaos.
And then a name.
Yeah, sorry, I'm on a mobile device. Flipping through and chip.
Let's go with, there you go.
Chaos. Earthquakes. And Casey.
You're muted.
Sorry, energy. I'll go to Mark now.
Energy. Future. Let's go with Alec.
Positivity.
All right. I like ending on that note. Thank you, Alec. Future and positivity, which is what you guys are here to help create, I am guessing. And in that spirit, our next, before we go into our practical ideas, we're going to do a really quick round of just a turbo yes and. So this is going to be another 3 minutes. Going to be, if you have the groups the same, that's fine. They can stay the same. In this one, the way it's going to work is you're going to really practice yes and with the following sentence. So I'm going to say, one person in your group is going to say, let's start a business doing whatever it is. It could be absolutely ridiculous. It could be related to zero waste. It could be not. It doesn't matter. The point is, everyone's just going to be yes-anding and not critiquing, not shutting down the idea, but it's just going to build. Let's start a recycled donut shop in Seattle that takes compost and turns it into amazingly delicious donuts. Yes, and I see some tongues going out, so it just continues to build who that, maybe the donuts are fed to pigs, who knows? But let's go ahead now and get in your breakout group. One person's going to start with, let's start a business X, and then yes, and 3 minutes, let's rock it and come back. Do that. But I want to move us into the more practical side now of your actual ideas or lack thereof, and ask everyone to please grab a piece of paper, or if it's better to have a notepad on your screen, but something that you can be writing on. And give you another 30 seconds for that. And this first stage, just for a couple minutes, is really, really simple. It's just when people tend to think of brainstorming and ideation, we're just doing that. I want you to write down, if you have an existing idea, write that down. If you don't, we're going to try and do an activity, and we're going to see who the winner is here. The goal is using the letters A through Z to come up with as many ideas as you can in the next 2 minutes for potential services or products or whatever you want to do with your project. So if you've already got one, just think of parallel ones or new ones, or maybe tweaks. Maybe I know one person group here has this great idea of stainless steel cups being brought to conference centers. Maybe their A is aluminum cups, and B would be brass cups, and C would be candy inside of all the cups that we bring there, and D might be delicious hosts bringing the cups, whatever. So A to Z, when I say go, go. New ideas or tweaks to your existing idea.
Is this
Go
for
for
a team idea that we just, like our fictional idea or our actual idea?
This is for your actual idea, your actual team's idea. We're moving into the practical world now. I'll be curious to see if anyone gets all the way to Z.
Leaf, do you have a timer to put up again, or should I just?
I can, yep. We have
That'd be
about
cool.
1 minute left, so I will put a timer of 1 minute. I'm realizing by kind of turning it into a contest, I've probably traumatized those of us that went through a typical Western timed test, which creates stress, which cuts down on creativity. So don't worry about getting to A to Z. That was just more to be fun, but like use that structure to help you think outside the box a little bit. About 15 seconds left. All right. Time is complete. And type in the chat box what letter you got up to, just curious. And I'm also curious if anyone actually had something that was like, oh, that is an interesting idea. What if we did try that? You could write that in the chat as well.
And Pierce raised his hand. Maybe he can share.
Oh, great. Please do. Go for it, Pierce.
So I'm with the Cup project. So that was thanks for the start, Leaf. But I was thinking with D, like a dent return policy for the Cup project. Like if it gets dented or something, you can say you want to keep it, or I don't know. I was just thinking something if like the cup gets destroyed or dented, there'd be some way to not hold the person liable, or
yeah,
I don't know,
cup insurance.
Yeah, some kind of dent cup insurance or something.
Love it. And Pierce, I'm going to tell you something funny. I can share this with you later. We are going to actually move into giving you a demo of something, but raise your hand. I'm guessing with this community, it's going to be high, but I just don't want to make an assumption. How many of you know about or have even been using ChatGPT? Okay, I'm seeing a good probably 3/4 of you. Okay, well, just as an experiment with Xenia, I actually put your project idea, Pierce, in to ChatGPT and came and asked it a few questions about like names for the project and like ideas, and potential challenges, and I was blown away with what it came up with. But I got to tell you, just one part that I thought was super cool was the name PreCycle, like upcycle, but PreCycle. So yeah, it just was like coming up with a lot of really, really interesting ideas. So we're gonna show you how you can be using ChatGPT. Ideally, if we have time here. I'm sure there's a lot of range from people who hate what's happening with AI and some of you who love it. So we won't go into that. But hopefully you got some ideas with that A to Z. And we're now going to take one more little writing exercise. And it's an activity that I highly recommend doing on your own, in the car, in the shower, with a friend. And it's using the sentence stem, what if? And it's just over and over again. What if, like Pierce, you said, what if we did return, like we had a dent program policy, or what if? So I want you just over and over on paper, or Tiffany with your group, you guys can speak it out loud to each other. What if we did this? What if we did that? But I'm going to make a request. And the request is that you come up with at least 3 ridiculous ideas, 3 if you had no budget at all, you had, and the opposite, you had like no end, like you could spend as much money as you want. And then the third one is 3 that are thinking about underserved communities, social equity, social justice ideas. What if we did this? Okay. So you guys have another couple minutes, either as a conversation, if you're with your team, or on paper. What if? What if? What if we made it out of this? What if we did this? 3 ridiculous ideas, 3 as expensive as you want ideas. You have $1 billion budget, 3 social justice related ideas. Underserved. What if we hired Lady Gaga to wear our product on her head? What if we, think of oh, and I'll put the timer up for 1 more minute. And again, our goal today isn't so much that you really like, okay, we got it figured out, yeah, but that we learn we get connected together some, we recognize that this process can be fun. I like to use the word plurk, play, learn, work. I know it sounds like twerk, but hey, that's okay. But bringing together the enjoyment. When we use the word play, while you're thinking, and those of you that have already done, what we tend to mean is I enjoyed the process. And when we use the word work, what we tend to mean is I'm focused on the goal and I don't really necessarily enjoy the process. What if you could plurk it? What if you actually could enjoy the process and the goal? Plurk it, baby. Okay. We got 20 seconds. Okay, time's up. No worries if you didn't hit all the categories. Let's have just one, let's have 3 quick shares because I really want to get us into the converging process a bit. Raise your hand. Yep, Tom. Unmute yourself there. Go ahead and unmute yourself first, Tom. Okay, while you're figuring that out, Tom, I'm going to see anyone else want to raise their hand, have an idea that
I got it.
could be.
I'm ready.
Oh, you got it? Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay, what if we recycled horse poop like Mark is trying to do? That's number 1. What if we had $4 million from Environmental Protection Association for our project? And the third one is, what if rural communities had jobs for people? That's 3.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. And Mark, I think I saw your hand go up.
Yes, it did. What if we have no more landfills? What if we made intern positions for all students in these new facilities? And then what if we made a new economy through crowdsourcing?
Awesome. So I got a little that thought of like no landfills, like our future generations looking back and laughing at this idea of like, what, you guys just put stuff that was valuable away? That's like a beautiful vision. Great. And maybe one more. Casey?
Hey, I wrote, what if there was no more plastic waste in the world? What if people could recycle single-use plastics at home? And what if profit didn't drive this market of recycling?
Nice. And it's really fun to do this for an extended time and to actually answer that question. What would things look like? What if it did? Okay, so before we go into some final activities in groups with our last 15 minutes, I want to do this last converging activity. And how many, raise your hand if you guys have heard of the Japanese concept of ikigai. 1, 2, 3, 4 of you. Okay, cool. That means the rest of you, I think I need to have a share screen capability given to me. Is that possible?
I think you have. Yeah, I think you should have it.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So Ikigai is awesome. I used to think that it was just a great tool for your vocation. But as I teach people about event production and facilitation and what kind of events they want to create, I realized that this is really good for like so much. So what I want you to do on a piece of paper is, we don't have time to go into all of Ikigai. You can explore it later, but I want you to put on the left-hand side of your paper, let's say 3 ideas, 3 of your ideas. And if you already are committed to an idea, maybe 3 like tweaked versions of your ideas. And on the top, what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, what you can be paid for. And then I'm going to add a 5th, and that is social justice or underserved. And what we're just going to really quickly do is give a rating from 1 to 10 on the match. So if you're, I'm just going with you, Pierce. I hope it's okay with the cups because it's the one I know about. Maybe Pierce puts down about the steel cups and he's like, this is something that I really love. I have a lot of passion for it. So he gives himself an 8. Yes, the world really needs this. We need to cut out disposable cups. Well, we're working on the paid model. So I'm going to give that like a 4 right now. And I'm really good at organizing a team and like whatever the skills it would take to do that. And then the underserved, it might be a question of, well, we need to give some more thinking about that, as that's an important part in society right now. So up to 3 ideas, each with a rating from 1 to 10 in those 5 categories. Raise your hand if you have a question. I'm going to cycle through. Mark?
You want 3 answers for each one of those categories? Is that what I understood?
So basically on the left-hand side, you've got your 3 different ideas, and then you've got ratings. Each one has ratings from 1 to 10.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. There's many ways to work on the convergent side when you have lots of ideas and narrow it down to a best idea. I wanted just to do one quick tool right now and some categories to be thinking about.
The settings are done right now, so we can see your notes in your sharing.
Oh, great. Thank you. And just like 30 more seconds with that. I'd like to get us into our final activity. And I was worried we wouldn't have enough time for 2 activities, but I see what I'm going to do now is give you guys an option of choosing how one of 2 activities when you're with your group. Okay, and I'm happy to send a screenshot, or there'll also, I think, be a recording of this call. I'm guessing probably a number of you are like, ooh, I want to, you can also just Google Ikigai. Okay, so that's going to be turned off.
On the curriculum page, we'll attach the Ikigai graphic.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Oh, right. So for our final activity, time has flown. You're going to have an opportunity, going to be in a group of 3. And I want you to pay attention because there's 2 activities that you could choose. Okay. Activity number 1, each person's going to have 2 minutes. Activity number 1 is a role play. And the role play will go like this. You will very quickly, don't take a long time describing it, say what idea you are playing with. It might be one you already know you're committed to, or just one that you want to get feedback on today. And in the role play activity, you're just going to pitch this idea, and your partners, you're going to tell them you want on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being be really easy on me and really positive, like that's a great idea, and like, wow, you could do this, and have you thought about that, and what about this? And so it's like a really sort of positive, easy. Some of you though, you like it hard. Come on, like we got this idea developed. Give me some challenges. If you say give me a 10 in the role play, they're going to be tough on you. Going to be like, well, how is that going to work? How much is it going to cost? Where are you going to get that material? What if people don't like it? Okay, so it's a role play as if your idea is a real thing and you're pitching it, and your partners, their job is to ask you questions, either from a 1 to 10 of how easy. Any questions on that one? Okay. Activity number 2 is called Fly on the Wall. And the way this works is you're going to do the same thing. You're going to tell people what your idea is. Doesn't have to be developed all the way. You're not pretending it's the future. And then you're going to turn your camera off, and your partners are going to pretend that you're not there. and they're going to gossip positively about you and your idea in third person. Wow, that, you know, that Pierce, his cup idea, that's kind of brilliant. Like we at our, you know, I go to conferences where they throw out thousands of cups, like, but you're also going to say, what if he did this? What if they did this? So you're going to be doing some of the generative ideation in addition to the positive affirmation. So again, 2 minutes each. This is going to have to be fairly efficient. I apologize. We're going to be going over probably by about 3, 4, 5 minutes. Is that okay with people? If you have to go, you got to go. But I'd really like to have a chance to get some peer feedback. And you're going to be in groups of 3. One person's going to go first, pitch your idea, say you want to role play or you want to be a fly on the wall, and then you'll turn your camera off if you're that option. All right. Let's get out there. I'll be the timer. And you'll get a message when the first 2 minutes is up saying to switch partners.
Okay. Thanks very much.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. I hope that some new ideas came from, I'm just out of curiosity, how many of you raised your hand? How many of you chose to be a fly on the wall? And just turn your camera off and just listen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then how many of you got a chance to role play? Get some feedback. Did anyone just ask to be like challenged in their role play? Hit hard? Oh, Andrew did. Pierce did. Okay, great. How was that, Andrew? Just out of curiosity, haven't gotten the chance to hear from you today much. How was it with your role play?
Oh, it was fine. I always like to get challenged because it's the hard questions that really are the objections that would be the things you need to get over in the first place or need to hear to understand what to focus on. So it's, yeah, I like it. I always ask for it.
That's great. Great answer. And, you know, when you think about it, like what you guys are often trying to do, you know, composting the crap in life, the hard parts of life, and turning it into something beautiful is both what you're trying to do in your business ideas, but it's also what skill set that means you already have. You already have the tool, the mindset of like, here comes something difficult. How can I turn that now into something that strengthens me, like Andrew was talking about? So, you know, the inevitable difficulties that are going to come up in this next couple months and beyond, have that same attitude. You know, it's like, oh, here comes some shit. How can I turn that into compost and actually grow food out of this difficult thing, right? I want to respect your time. I recognize we're 10 minutes over. I apologize for that. There are 2 things that are going to be coming for feedback. One is going to be a feedback form that, oh, there it is already in the chat. And then the other is I'm going to be following up with an email to all of you that gives some suggestions for how you can kind of take the next steps of diverging and like really narrowing down in this, excuse me, in this process, moving yourself towards a prototype. So that will come to you in an email as well as my own contact information. I hope you guys had a good time today. I hope you had some fun. I hope you met at least 1 or 2 people, if not more. I hope your mind got a little bit of opening into that playful, childlike sense of possibility, and that you came up with some good ideas. Any other final things we need for checking out, Xenia?
Thank you so much, Liv. That was it. And as Liv mentioned, we'll share all the resources. We'll also attach them to the curriculum page, so you can always find all the resources in one place on the website. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. I think it was a great start. It was, I loved how much connections we made, and thank you, Liv, for providing that space for us to just let ourselves loose. That was very much needed. It's a really strong first session.
Awesome.
Welcome, everyone, to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks, everyone.
Great to meet you all. Hope to see you a little later. I put some contact
Thanks,
info in the
everyone.
chat there that also includes
Thanks, everyone.
a free membership site you can check out there too.